It was 2012 out there. Okay, if you played in the early 2010s in the NFC West, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you watch the NFC West, if you watch the AFC North in the early 2010s, there were some hits last night where, and I'm going to start the breakdown like this. Number one, hats off to Caleb Williams because he's very tough. I mean, I for all the guy paints his nails. Oh, the guy has a purse. Oh, brother, he got obliterated out on that field last night. Okay, he got burped a couple times, as we used to say. And for him to get up and keep battling, I think he's going to earn a lot of respect in the locker room. Getting up in post-game talking. I'm going to talk about this later in the mentions, but I'd love to hear what C.J. Stroud said to him at the end of the game in that kind of like huddle at midfield where they were dapping it up. I think Caleb Williams made some bad decisions. I think he missed some throws. And I think he got pummeled, and not all of it was under his control. But I do want to say this. Let's not act like Caleb Williams is the first rookie quarterback to get pinballed back there in one of his first two starts. Okay? We didn't do this we did a little bit for Burrow. Well, Burrow proved it. I mean, Burrow looked better coming in, right? Like he looked more pro-adjusted. But everybody was worried about Burrow. Nobody worried about Sam Bradford. I played with a guy named Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford, I promise you, was better than his career ended up. It's like we're very selective when it comes to taking the context of somebody's career, how they enter the league into account. And obviously there's a lot of people, myself included, who would like to see this kid do well, okay? I see the special traits. Every time he leaves the pocket, I'm like, oh, he could hurt us. I'm on Houston last night, okay? When he leaves the pocket, I'm afraid. I don't get afraid when Bo Nix leaves the pocket. I'm not watching a bunch of Jaden Daniels yesterday.
You'll be afraid.
No, I love Jaden Daniels. Okay, I can't wait to see this tape. But I will tell you, he's got to play better in some spots. It's not all the offensive line, man. Like, I know it's easy. Y'all put this team in the playoffs. By y'all, I mean everybody who was standing on the table for them to make this trade. I don't count myself in that group. I was pretty vocal about, hey, maybe you don't bring in, an otherworldly talent and not see it realized because your team isn't quite complete. But everybody said this team's ready to win right now. You guys put them in the playoffs. You guys talked about how damn good they were going to be, the greatest show on fescue right out of the gate. And last night what they did is they went on the road and played a team that blitzed more than they have generally.
Ever. And under D'Amico, yeah.
Yeah, this was D'Amico's. D'Amico said, hey, we're going to speed it up. It's going to be loud. There are going to be adjustments you have to make. There are going to be protections you have to set. Let's see how quickly you can get to your first option in the quick game, and we'll keep you out of taking those shots. And I thought the speed with which that defense plays was on full display. I wish we'd walk out of that game last night and say, holy shit, Houston's fast. And that team, with the other AFC elites struggling at times early this season, the NFC elites struggling this week too, very young season, that team looks like one of the best teams in the league. And it looks like one of the best teams in the league, not only because of C.J. Stroud, but because of the additions that they made with the game on the line. Hunter, that's a Hall of Fame rush with the game on the line. And yeah, the right tackle, people are like, look at this guy, as if to say they're killing Caleb. No, Danielle Hunter killed Caleb. Okay? The Shire, the guy's a fucking, guy's a missile. Okay? Guy's a missile out there. And the fight on the sideline, guys.
He's going to get a big fine.
He's going to get a big fine. Yeah. And people are like, how did they not see it? How did they not see it? I don't know, 45 people in between the ref and Al Shire. You can't go up to New York. I know that sometimes you think the NFL is like rigging the game, but I thought Houston was getting a lot of penalties last night that maybe were on the line. And it kept Chicago in the game. The Shire play, yeah, you'd like to see that and eject him. And I don't know what happened on the ground. I would assume something nasty happened on the ground. But that's what happens. And I would be lying to you if I didn't say, and you can call me anything you want. I played for Jeff Fisher and Greg Williams. You can call me a dirtbag. I like it. I'd say don't punch people in the face mask because you're going to break your hand. But I love the intensity, the dog that guy brings to that defense. Like, you need a guy like that. When we played in the early 2010s, we had Cortland Finnegan. Okay, everybody talks about Andre Johnson, but most of the time, Cortland was the guy that got the best of the other guy. Jolon Dunbar, TJ McDonald, guys like that just, I play with 6 or 7 guys that I saw knock people unconscious. And last night, it felt like that kind of game. This is a really fast defense. So yeah, this rookie had an O-line that struggled. Okay, they're on the road. 2.59 to throw is pretty good. Like, that's top 10 in the league as far as getting the ball out, but still pressured on 36 of 44 dropbacks. Nate Davis and Coleman Shelton are IDing people at the door at a college bar. Okay.
4 false starts on that line as well that were really brutal. 4
false starts, just bad day up front for them. But let's not make it all about let's not do what would the word be? This is I don't know. Caleb Williams should sue the Bears. This is just so unfair to him. We said coming in, I don't know that a rookie quarterback's ever had as good a situation as this. And I would say, looking at the first 2 games, you go to Houston and play with a team that I put in the Super Bowl, and you're down 6 points. That's a testament to that team at the end of the game. Okay? You give up 17 to the Titans, you come back and win that game, you don't even score an offensive touchdown. This team is pretty good. There are 2 teams in the NFL right now that if they figure out the quarterback, they're going to be scary. This is one of them. So the job of the Chicago Bears is to not ruin this kid in the first half of the season. Commit to the quick game. You're going to play Indy next week. You're going to run the ball for 200 yards. You have to.
Yep.
Okay? Stick to the script. Get this kid some help. The O-line will figure it out, or they won't, and you got to work around it. Tough shit. This is the NFL. You are a rookie quarterback, okay? I picked Sam Bradford up every time after he tore his ACL, hung out with him in the morning. This dude was obliterated from the minute he walked into the league. And I know some people are going to be like, this is different. Caleb Williams is special. Sam's not. I can't tell so far, okay? Now, I'm on his side. I just don't like the BS, okay? And if they figure this quarterback out, or he figures it out, they're going to be special. Like, they're going to be dangerous, okay? But they can't do it getting this kid killed. And last night was probably a situation, if you were trying to win that game, he was going to take some hits. And boy, did he. But I want to give Houston some credit. I just think their defense was a lot of fun. And DJ Moore looks frustrated. The whole group looks frustrated. And I don't think it's at Caleb. I thought he handled everything after the game well. So this is not a hit job. It's not a criticism of Caleb. It's a criticism of you in the chat who couldn't wait this morning to come make a million excuses why this team that you put in the playoffs is failing Caleb Williams. I didn't see it that way.
I love seeing the meme go around of Justin Fields sitting on a bench as a Bear and then Caleb Williams.
Yes, Kai, malpractice is the word I was looking for.
They have the same facial expression, like just dejected, sitting on that Bears bench. And the meme is just like, this is what playing for the Bears does to you as a quarterback.
I don't think it's the Bears. I get it. It's a haunting kind of deal around that. Like, it's like Cleveland. It's like a mini Cleveland. But Rex Grossman did go to the Super Bowl as a Chicago Bear. They have a ring back in the 80s. Like, you gotta exercise these demons and live in the now. You got who you wanted. Mm-hmm. You got guys outside. You have a dynamic run game. Lean on that run game. Go quick game. Give him time to get his feet under him. The thing I'm surprised about is that the deeper intermediate balls are not all on target, because that was the one thing I thought he'd do a really good job of coming out of college, but he just hasn't so far.
Chris, you want to know, I mean, you mentioned it briefly, but a guy who I think that the Bears can get a little bit more out of offensively, this dude who I think is explosive as hell. He got a lot of, I mean, he had, 14 carries last night, but DeAndre Swift, if they could just get their run game going, and you've talked about their O-line being bad, like you saw that in protection, they could get their run game going with a little more of a plan. It takes a little stress off Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah, no question.
I think that would be a huge thing. Like, he's a talented player, man. Like, just get him going a little bit, get some confidence from the run game, offensively from the Bears. Like, you got to think that that's circled for next week against Indy, right? So, like, if they can get their run game going, get Caleb Williams into more of a groove, and they can do, like, play actions, Maybe they do some play action deep shots to DJ Moore after getting the run game going next week against Indy. Like that'll really give him a lot of confidence going down the stretch in the season.
And, people are talking in the chat about Shane Waldron, having Shane Waldron as your first OC as a setup for failure. Like, that's not what we were saying the whole time in the offseason. There was buzz around this guy. Look what he did in Seattle, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying that was the consensus, but generally, let's not make up things week 2 to excuse what is reality. This guy is a rookie quarterback. Give him some time. But what we're not going to do, I'm not going to do, is sit up here and blame everybody but Caleb when I look around the league, and that's not the worst offensive line in the league. Mm-hmm. You could say coming out of 2 weeks that statistically there's XYZ issues with this offensive line. It's not the only offensive line that's struggling. It is on the coaches, and Matt Eberflus, who had 2 terrible challenges, and that was an epidemic across the league. Like, you have to coach the game perfectly when you go on the road to play Houston. You have to design your offensive play calls perfectly. You have to have a game plan that you stick to. And the game never got out of hand where they couldn't stick to it. There were drives where Caleb looked sharp, but he's got to put a full game together where either they max pro or they lean on the run and they go play action more, they move the pocket. I want to see those elements. Where it's going to be really hard is against a Houston team like this that's super fast.
Right.
You can move the pocket, you can get the ball out on the perimeter, but people are there. They're swarming. You know what I'm saying? And Stingley played better last night. I thought Stingley had a rough week 1. He played better.
Yeah, he bounced back. And with Chicago too, it takes time to build a contender as well. I mean, you look at the moves they made this offseason. They focused on skill guys, bringing in Swift, drafting Odunze, bringing in Keenan. It's going to be next offseason where they can kind of make more investments there up front. But yeah, it's just, the overreaction of everybody thinking it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't for anybody. Like CJ Stroud's an anomaly.
Yeah, let's stop doing this thing
right.
he could be CJ Stroud this year. And you know what the thing about CJ Stroud was? He wasn't even the guy that was supposed to be CJ Stroud. The guy that's supposed to be CJ Stroud, people are giving up on him 19, 20 games into his career in Carolina.
Right.
And you got Adam Thielen at the locker after the game saying, it's not all his fault. We have to be better. And I could tell the way he was saying, you don't have to go out on a limb for that guy, but he means at least partially what he's saying. There's something to that. And the truth is, you don't get to choose where you go play football. And everybody congratulates these guys and pats them on the back. I remember when I got drafted number 2 in the draft, my first thought was this is going to be an uphill battle because nothing is framed in the context of success on a losing team. Nothing. You play on a bad team, you could be playing well. Everything that goes wrong, they're going to look at you, a high draft pick, and say, what were you not doing on this play? What were you? So we do some of that in looking at Caleb Williams. And conversely, if you're on a great team, generally cream rises to the top, and you are a beneficiary of that. So it's reality. You thought you had a really good team. I think you do. But you have to take care of the one thing you maybe didn't do quite a good enough job of, and that's solidifying this offensive line. But you had to choose one thing. And that was the chance you took, and you made the trade anyways. So it's on you. Now you have to figure it the F out.